Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. Mike, one of the senior developers at 11th Hour Games, held his normal Friday Q&A live stream on Twitch, which means I get to bring you Dev Chat 145. As always, Mike answered lots of great questions from the community and gave us a glimpse into the future on what's coming. And we're going to jump into it in just 1 second. First, huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, a new partner to Action RPG, the Crimson Market. Now, if you don't know about the Crimson Market, I like to explain this as a modern day gaming club. They've got some amazing tech and tools on their website and Discord for trading inside of Diablo 4, but what's truly special about the Crimson Market is the Crimson Club. They give away a custom PC every single month. And the current PC that is being given away at time of recording in 5 days is the Bumblebee PC. As you can see, it's completely custom, very high-powered gaming machine. This will be given away in 5 days on Woody Stream. Right now, the Crimson Market has the golden ticket to enter the club for free with a 30-day royal tiers. So check out the Crimson Market. It is the first link in the description. All right, let's jump into our first question around Cycle 2.
We're almost 6 weeks into Cycle 2. Are there any quality of life or gameplay changes looking forward to still for Cycle 2? On that same note, how's Cycle 3 coming along? Yeah, there's you've assessed it quite well. We are there's some updates still coming for Cycle 2. Yes. I think there'll likely be at some point probably a more substantial update of shouldn't say that like that. There's like, I think what's gonna happen, so we've been doing more of a weekly thing, and a lot of you probably noticed that we missed this week's, and it wasn't always a hard set rule that we do one every single week, but I think there'll be like a, hey, there's none this week, hey, there's one that's two's worth next week type thing. We are in the middle of doing our version update, our engine version update right now, which is going pretty well actually, and looks like we're going to transition over to that. So we'll be actually developing in the new engine very soon. Some people actually already are, which is great.
What?
Yeah.
Still, more coming to Cycle 2. Engine upgrade soon, and they are already developing in it. Ability specific character sheet.
With the character sheet, a lot of the stuff people are asking about with like ability specific information on a character sheet, where it's like, how much crit does this shield bash have? Like when the next time I use shield bash, what is the crit chance it's going to have? And having that information in the character sheet is a really important thing that we are working on. The really tricky part about it is that there's the way we've set up a lot of our systems behind the scenes. There's a lot of things that get applied at runtime. So like, right now, what's a good example? Stats are easy to do. I know I said stats are easy to do in this crit, but conditional stats are the hard one to do, really.
Bad examples.
I don't know. It won't be here.
Come on, Mike.
I don't have a good example off the top of my head. There's things. So say you had something that's like damage while at high health or something like that. That while at high health check doesn't happen until the damage is like actually being applied. The skill has no idea that's going to happen really until it actually connects. And like a lot of those things, we don't have a generic way of showing those things. So there's a line of code that's like this, and it can be named whatever we want because someone set this up to be like, all right, damage at high health or something like that, and it's like. In the thing that actually like causes the effect to happen, there's a check that's different from every other damage at high health check, and it like specifically checks the health and all these things. And because part of it is because each individual ability has very unique and bespoke elements to that skill tree. So there's like if everything was fully generic in the way that it was set up, like how, so for example, like just damage is generic and we can interpret that damage stat anywhere, but damage at high health is not a generic thing. It's done individually for each source of it. So having those conditional stats apply and be displayed properly in a character sheet window, that's the really tricky part.
But know that they are working on it, and it is coming for the future. D2 Mercenaries.
Level 2 style mercenary companion. I'd love to do something like that. We have been very cautious about doing it because we try and have like the fact of like a like the concept of a pet class and this, like, whether you're alone or not, being a like a class mechanic and a class stylistic decision, whereas having a like in D2, every single character is a pet class because you have this pet following you no matter what, or optionally anyways, and it's kind of like, why wouldn't you? There's a few builds that it doesn't make sense because it just dies instantly, but for the most part, it's sort of a why wouldn't you situation. And I think that is kind of the core reason we haven't done it in the past. I'd really like to see, like, I think the way that shows up is as a class mechanic for a specific mastery. I think that's how it shows up. Because it's one of those things where it's like, it's a tried and true thing that people like to have in ARPGs. So I think it would be kind of silly to ignore it completely forever. But if you're like, Mike, put it in the game somewhere, I'd be like, all right, one class is getting it as a class mechanic, maybe two, I don't know. But it's gonna become a class mechanic.
Barbarian getting a mercenary. This is the new thing we're gonna push for. Let's talk dungeons.
Dungeons, I think, are, I just want to say this as well. Dungeons, I'll move on to the next one, I swear. Dungeons, I think, are a really positive overall mechanic and are going to be a huge part of the end game going forward. I think they serve a really important service to the game and how people interact with that, the system and everything. Like, I think it's a really important part of the game. They're just not very good yet. Like the actual like experience and gameplay that's afforded inside of the dungeons isn't really good enough yet. That's the big problem.
Losing your loot during a Nemesis fight.
One little bug fix I can tell you about. So we know there's some issues still with people. The order of, so like if you're fighting a Nemesis and both of you die, there are situations where you can lose the gear that was in there because you can't come back and get it after it dies.
You do lose it.
There's two ways that can happen. One where you actually like, depending on the order of who kills who first. So if you kill the Nemesis first and then you die to a dot, we don't have any changes to that coming just yet. We are fixing that problem, but we do have there's a very quick fix we have for the other situation where the Nemesis actually kills you and then your dots finish the Nemesis off afterwards, or a pet or something like that. In that situation, we actually can fix it so that the Nemesis doesn't drop the items and it still has your items when you come to it next time. So we're half fixing that.
That is great and fantastic news. Let's talk new story chapter.
For the new story chapter, will it be after the current last chapter, or will you rework and squeeze it somewhere else? When we do release another chapter, it will come, like, it's a continuation of the story from like the end of the like you kill Majasa, spoiler alert, you kill Majasa, and the next chapter we release will continue from that point on. There is I think I can say this. There's a tiny little tweak that needs to happen to the dialogue at the end of that sequence to make it fit right, but yes, it's, for the most part, it's basically just pick up where you left off, keep going.
Cycle 2 performance.
Are you guys happy with the reception of the 1.1 cycle? Did you hit all the points you expected? I think I mean, there's always room for improvement, absolutely. You know, like I'm still the giddy developer who's like, oh my god, there's someone playing our game, yes. Like I still remember the first call that we were in a meeting, and like we had like the first person who like officially paid for Last Epoch as a game without like a Kickstarter backing, just bought the game, and like, you know, all those moments they stand out as special to me still. And so yeah, I'm thrilled with the reception that's having. I think that there's volume wise was probably less than we had hoped for, but you know, we didn't do the same marketing stuff we did for 1.0, so it's not wholly unexpected, all that sort of stuff. Always room for improvement.
Mike just gets excited that there are still people playing Last Epoch, and I am one of them. Now, from a marketing perspective, I really do hope that they change this up a little bit for Cycle 3. Right now the cycles are Cycle 1.2 and then 1.3. So a lot of the community is like, wait, is this a patch notes? Is this just an update, or is this an actual season release? So I hope they update some of the branding around the cycles. I think it'll go really far. Now let's talk console release.
2 consoles with crossplay functionality. I know it is a complicated feature. How does it look like? Have not checked anything about it online. Just noticed you were streaming and the question popped up. Yeah, happy to answer it. Consoles have since Kickstarter, we've always been like, one day we want to get on consoles. That's like sort of been a long-term goal in the back of our minds for a long time, is to get to consoles. Having a controller since day one of launch, of like controller support to some degree since day one, that has gotten to a pretty good state at this point. It's not quite there yet, but it's pretty darn good, I think. It gives us a leg up in getting the console. There's quite a few things we don't, as a studio, we've never released a console game before, only PC game, and so there's lots of people who are part of the studio that have been part of other studios that have released console games, so it's not a complete zero experience situation. But as a company, we don't have like a pre-existing relationship with Sony or Microsoft about getting it onto consoles. I don't think we're looking at Switch right now, just for the record. It's not impossible, but I think that's low on the list, just I think the other two will be dramatically easier for us to do, and with our very first foray into it, easier is good. We are looking at Steam Deck and a much tighter timeline, which has a lot of similar requirements as far as like UI scaling, controller support, things like that. So there's a lot of stuff we have to do for Steam Deck that's going to translate nicely into consoles as well. Consoles is something that is I would say slowly creeping up in our priority list. I don't have any sort of ETA. We don't have any dev kits. We're not making builds for it. You know, we're not there yet. But it is on the list.
Steam Deck soon, consoles well into the future. I love this idea.
It gets a bit annoying searching an entire monolith for Nemesis, and it feels bad when you run the entire map without finding anything. What do you think of revealing the map after completing the objective?
By the way, I like Mike's suggestion to this question.
I don't know if I've heard this suggestion in a while anyways. I don't think there's a problem with it. Okay, yeah, here's the problem with it. I think what I would prefer is if there was some sort of method where it like checked to see what you didn't finish, and like it's like, oh, there is one Nemesis one like objective complete, one Nemesis remains, objective complete, one exiled mage remains, you know, something like that, where it like tells you, hey, there's something out there still, you can go find it. I kind of like that better than revealing the map, partially because it then lets you still like see where you haven't been in the map. There's still that fog of war effect of like, okay, I haven't searched here yet. It does encourage objective rushing a little bit more as well.
Bingo. That's exactly what would happen. And most people still just rush the objective anyways, and the HG wants people to search around. So I think it's a good idea, but I like Mike's suggestion that once you complete it, it'll let you know if there's something you missed. Do it. Mike, I've been asking for this for a long time. The ability to hide the UI.
All right. What are the chances where you can hide the UI without pickups / interactions being hidden as well? Immersive mode, maybe. Oh, like, so hide the HUD, but have item pickups still be available, so you can like still find items but no HUD. That's a cool. I don't think I've heard that one before. You can drop it in the suggestions channel, and maybe I don't see why not. It's not exactly a difficult thing for us to do.
Okay, that would be awesome. In isometric action RPGs, normally you want to go up, left, right because you have the most screen. And when you go down, it feels terrible because you can't see that much because you have this massive UI. So what some games do is they put in a scaler where you can make the UI really small or really big. The option is yours. But most of them do not have a way to eliminate the UI. And obviously, when you are playing these games, how often are you actually looking to see if your skills are off cooldown or if you can use them? You're not looking at them at all. If you just had a bar above your head that showed you your life and you can see items that drop on the ground, you don't need the UI. And the screen looks nice and clear, and it's a completely different experience. All right, everyone, unfortunately, we have come to the final question of Dev Chat 145. Mike, as always, thank you for your Friday live streams. The community truly appreciates it. And again, huge shout out to the Crimson Market. First link in the description for sponsoring today's video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with Mike talking about skills that might need to be reworked. So keep your eyes on these ones. Mike, take it away.
Skills need to rework overall. Honestly, those are probably the biggest ones that come to mind. Assemble Abomination, I think might do with some love. It's been a while since we've touched it. Heck, what else is out there? Let's look through a big list of all the skills. Serpent Strike. Oh, Summon Bear and Summon Sabertooth. I forgot about them. I'm like, oh, we gotta fix that. Oh, we just fixed that, right? Never mind, it's good now. Yeah, those are probably the biggest ones that I mentioned already. I gotta play some more Acolyte. I haven't actually been playing Acolyte much. So I don't have big personal stuff. There's some stuff with Aura of Decay and Reperform in general. Like Lich needs we took away a toy and we didn't give it anything back, so it needs a little bit of a relook, I think. There's something I'm missing. There's something I'm just straight up forgetting. I think those would be the highlights.